The pressure is on for the Mysterious Monkeys in Game 4 as they have to win to stay in this series against Schalke 04. Let's see if they can rise to the occasion and pull off a crucial victory. I was almost about to introduce us. We've been casting for a little while.
You can introduce us again.
I'm Aaron Medic Chamberlain, this is James Tressler, and obviously the casting's getting to my head. 2-1 to Schalke thus far. A clean game from them in Game 3. A messy game from them in Game 2 as it was clean from Mysterious Monkeys. And then very dirty at the start. From both teams.
Yes, it was. Very back and forth from both teams. So much focused on the top lane matchup. We saw the Jax take over. And while the Jax was going on, Mysterious Monkeys going, okay, we'll just try and take the Baron, and then upsetting the rest of Schalke, kind of punishing them. And I want to speak again about upset. We've talked about the AD carries a decent amount this game, but revisiting upset once again, we saw the Caitlyn come out. Laning phase still had a lot of the advantages that we expect out of the Caitlyn. Now, a little bit less so focused on the tower pushing, but he did have that presence still in the late game, as expected, as we've seen from Caitlyn in days gone by. I think it is still a prominent pick. May see it again, but your premonition was correct, Medic.
Schalke deciding to pick the red side here means that they do have the option to go for that Elise or get the Tristana for themselves as well. Galio and Jace bans from the Mysterious Monkeys, a Kalista and a Rakan from Schalke 04.
I feel like we're probably not going to get the blind pick Camille that comes out of this draft. Now, Schalke, of course, in the last game drafted heavily towards AD, but it didn't matter because the Jax got so far ahead and there was no true heavy amount of armor on the side of Mysterious Monkeys to kind of counter that.
And there's still so many options as well. You've got actually a Lucian ban from the Mysterious Monkeys, so perhaps we'll even see, I mean, I expect a Zac ban from Schalke 04, but with Janna left on the cards, with Elise there as well, there's so many different options.
Alistair is likely to be the one if we look at the last game, but the Tahm Kench is still up, that was banned in the last game as well, so it could be an adjustment to the Zac, as you mentioned. The Elise, or even the Gragas could be another ban here.
It's going to be the Alistair, so Mysterious Monkeys have first choice. Zac available, Elise available, Tristana available, and Jarvan available. They will go for the Jarvan themselves, something that we saw Schalke 04 do when they had that opportunity.
Now, will it be Elise Tristana coming out here from Schalke? We know they like to play the Tristana, the Braum together, but there are other options that we've seen them go. We've seen the Varus in this series to take control of the bottom lane. We've seen the Xayah out of the teams to kind of play for the later game as well.
Zac was left open last game as well and wasn't picked up by anyone. So there's a debate as to where you go with your jungle. The Thresh will be locked in. That's a support that we've seen such high priority on across most of the tournaments in the known world, most of the professional tournaments.
In the known world. What about in the unknown world?
Hey, you never know. Atlantis might have a tournament. I could just
true.
Imagine them underwater getting annoyed at the fact that computers keep fusing because of all the leaks and stuff that happens. Maybe they even have water-resistant computers.
I was going to say, they probably would have invented those.
New phones that
if we're in Atlantis, there's probably magic involved. The Thresh, the Tristana, I know you want to talk about the bottom lanes because we've had both locked in already, Medic. The Xayah for Mysterious Monkeys alongside the Braum, so a good amount of crowd control, scaling for the later game, less so for the laning phase, so would expect Schalke to take control. Once again, when the Thresh is there for Schalke, they're like, okay, we'll combo the Thresh, the Elise, another game where we're going to see this pick focus out of the jungle and support.
And Schalke now, because they picked the Elise last, they have the opportunity to get rid of things like the Zac if they really worry that Mysterious Monkeys are going to take Kikis up towards the top lane on that Jarvan. Could be a jungle Jarvan, the flex opportunity is there. Renekton banned from Schalke, very strong champion for both Kikis and Smittyj, and incredibly important in trying to get a top lane that you can win, because that is where all of these games really have been decided, in that top portion of the map.
Again, the LeBlanc ban comes out. I would almost hesitate to see Kikis on the Jarvan. He has played it a bunch. I think it is still a good pick. I think, though, the matchups are slightly less in Kikis' favor. If we end up seeing the likes of a Gnar come out here from Schalke, I wouldn't be too surprised to see Mysterious Monkeys ban it away. But the Shen is gone too, which does highlight that the Schalke think Mysterious Monkeys are going to the jungle with this.
Still Gragas on the cards here, so Amazing could take that into the jungle as well. There's so many different opportunities when you have a flex pick like this. The Corki removed by the Mysterious Monkeys, so they've actually gone down almost exactly the same ban path as they did in the last game, just switching out the Tahm Kench for that Lucian.
Now, Schalke either go Gnar here or Syndra, and if you go Syndra, it allows Mysterious Monkeys to take an advantageous mid lane matchup. We know Cassiopeia is one that we've seen. Taliyah is one we've seen out of Cozq as well. His Taliyah was actually impressive in game 2 as well. That means if Gnar comes out here, we're basically back to game 2 set up for Mysterious Monkeys, which worked very well for them. But then Schalke get the opportunity to pick into the Gnar, a matchup that they feel like does better. We might see the Rumble come out, which does lose the side lane later, but has presence in team fighting, but already a decent amount of magic damage coming through.
There's just so many different options, Jess, and it's going to be Sejuani. So it is Jarvan in the top lane, Sejuani in the jungle. Amazing. Had a great game on Sejuani in match 1 of this series. Schalke looking up towards the top lane as their final pick. What do you take into Jarvan? Is the Gnar
I think the Gnar is fine. Jarvan still can have some presence in that lane, and of course will be able to come out of the lane. We might see a Camille, another matchup that we do see.
Jax.
Oh.
It's Jax.
Okay, so Jax, a pick we started to see rise in prominence in the LPL, LCK, a little bit in Europe as well, into the Jarvan. Jarvan has kind of predictable trading patterns. We know that Smittyj is a great Jax player as well. Handily took out Kikis in the last game when Kikis was playing the Camille. I wonder whether this is another matchup that Mysterious Monkeys will be kind of regretting taking. Now, what do Mysterious Monkeys have to offset that? They have a lot of engage with the Jarvan, with the Sejuani, with the Taliyah. That's great for Mysterious Monkeys, but on the other side, Schalke, good pick potential again on the 4-player setup. Elise, Syndra, Thresh, great at hooking individual members and then punishing them as the Jax is pushing on the other side of the map.
Have to see if that top lane focus remains for Schalke 04 and the Mysterious Monkeys. We talked up every other lane as well. Mid lane, something we need to dive into as we get into this game, because last time we saw Caedrel pushing in Cozq, whereas Cozq was on the receiving end. Taliyah this time will give him a little bit more strength in that 1v1 matchup. Schalke 04 just a single win away from taking the first series in the promotion tournament. Half of the job will be done for them, and they will face up against the winner of Giants and NIP next week. If you think you know who is going to win the game, make sure you jump on Twitter. Hashtag S04 win for Schalke to take it 3-1. Or hashtag MM win if you think the Mysterious Monkeys will bounce back and take us all the way to game 5. We're going to jump onto the Summoner's Rift, perhaps the final game of the day. Schalke 04 against the Mysterious Monkeys.
In a great situation for Schalke, they now know, as you said, 1 game away from being in that winner's bracket final. Double elimination format would mean they would then have 2 more chances if things were to go awry. But Schalke have looked really strong in aspects of the game. Game 1 very back and forth. And we can see Schalke have gone back towards this play style around Smittyj over the last now 3 games we anticipate. I want to see whether Schalke can continue the momentum from the last game, or whether MM can kind of put a roadblock in the way and take us to that game 5.
Mysterious Monkeys have developed as a team across the course of the split. We see different members stepping up each game, but across this series in particular, we've seen a lot of pressure on Amazing and on Kikis' shoulders. They have been the members where the focus has been for Schalke, where Mysterious Monkeys have had to try and find the answers, and it seemed when Mysterious Monkeys are able to relieve some of that pressure, when Cozq is able to step up, when Yuki is able to step up on this Taliyah and on this Xayah, that has been when Mysterious Monkeys have looked the strongest. So
yeah,
I want to see them move that pressure away.
Exactly, when it's not just been about Kikis and Amazing, which Kikis and Amazing, they think themselves the top 2 versus 2. When you look at it, they say, okay, not many people will be able to beat us 2 versus 2. Problem is, this game is not a 2 versus 2 in the top lane at all times. Smittyj has weathered a lot of that presence in the top lane and turned games back around on his own. And that means that Kikis hasn't been able to live up to that. Now, if Amazing can somehow help out Kikis even more than normal, we may see him end up being able to fight in this matchup, but still, Jarvan into Jax, tough matchup as this game goes later, especially.
Let's explore the other matchups as well, Stress. Let's go to mid lane. Cozq with this Taliyah into the Syndra of Caedrel. Taliyah very good at pushing up the lane, but Caedrel on Syndra will be able to react to that relatively well as well. Perhaps not quite as strong in answering the push.
not quite as strong. And of course, there were those adjustments that you mentioned on 7-16 to both champions. It feels like they're dragging us up to the top lane every single time here.
Just because the camera's there,
I know.
doesn't mean we have to talk about it. Let's explore the rest of something.
I agree. And for once, that's still going to be the case that we have to talk about top lane medic. I know you don't want to talk about it, but with Amazing visiting, this is what Mysterious Monkeys do again and again. And Amazing is trying to find a way into the lane. He's very patiently waiting. And Memento is likely to start pathing towards the top side soon as well. So junglers should meet.
There's a change in jungle path as well for Memento, and I've joined you on the top lane hype train, Stress.
Because Amazing's about to go in here. You've got to commit to this.
Smittyj is going to get jumped on, but he can try and leap away. Amazing stops him in his tracks. The counter-strike comes out and does get the stun. The flash under by Smittyj, and he will get away. Kikis not quite reacting to the counter-strike properly. Memento has now got his red and is going to look to come up towards this top side to try and save Smittyj.
Q flash is available for Amazing, but they would have to have the damage as a follow-up, and Memento can lock somebody down at the tower. Flay comes back, trading the bottom lane.
Concussive blows will land as well. Upset tries to put the explosive charge onto Yuki. He gets a bit of damage back in response, but this is what you can do with the Xayah and a Braum. You lock them up with the feathers, and then you get the concussive blows off as well, and it's a long CC chain for an AD carry and support duo.
Cozq taking an awkward trade through the minions there as Caedrel punishes him heavily. Cozq had cleared the wave and was about to try and look for the Q, the empowered one, where you're not standing on worked ground. On the threaded volley, you get those 5 shots out. But Caedrel's just like, I'm just going to stun you. However, back to the top lane, Memento this time wants to gank for himself. EQ combo available. Kikis dodges the cocoon and goes aggressive.
EQ combo available in response as well. Memento needs to be cautious because Amazing's on his way and has the flash. Memento has a flash of his own. Smittyj there puts the counter-strike down and forces Amazing back. At the moment, Mysterious Monkeys have the number of Schalke in this top side of the map, but on the bottom side, it seems to be in favor of Upset and Norskeren.
And Amazing is visiting that top side so much because of the trading potential. We'll stick on bottom side for a second as we're talking about Norskeren and Upset. Now, of course, Thresh lanes very specifically trading heavily. Amazing coming back. We have to focus on top side
Smittyj, he used his leap strike. It's amazing to jump in, but he doesn't get the stun. However, he can lock him up underneath the tower. Smittyj jumps away. Amazing, not quite in range to hit the Arctic Assault.
How crucial would that have been if the knockup gets through there? Hang on, Kikis and Amazing still here. Memento's here.
Amazing's low. They're going to get the kill onto Kikis. First blood to Smitty and the counter-strike.
Oh, no.
Amazing might die as well. Schalke there with a double in the top lane. And they say, Amazing and Kikis, you may think you're the best in the LCS, but we're the best here today.
Amazing visits top side 3 times, and it doesn't quite connect mechanically with the knockback from Sejuani. Pixels short on that, and because they don't end up getting the kill on Smittyj, now they might do, because Kikis has TP'd into the lane.
He has got flash, but he missed the combo, and Smitty just jumps away. You've delayed his back.
He delayed
You're going to TP into the lane anyway.
Delayed his back, but he just picked up a kill. So Amazing was still stuck in the lane here, was trying to get back out. Kikis now no mana, and the trade goes down from Memento and Smittyj after the crowd control locks. Amazing ends up falling as well. Don't know whether he was blocked on the way out there, but Amazing just stuck between so many minions and champions of Schalke that Amazing can't get himself out either. He had no flash, remember, because of the botched attempt to go into the top lane, and no choice but to end up falling there. And that puts Schalke in such a commanding position through that top lane.
We saw how strong Smittyj could be, even behind on Jax. He lost first blood in the last game against a split push opponent and was able to win it out in the end. Here he's against a much more team fight orientated opponent in the Jarvan. Jarvan is not known too well for his split push pressure.
Whereas Jax is known to take the trades against Jarvan. When you have Counter-Strike available, you look for the trades, try and force fights against the Jarvan because you force him to combo his way out of a situation. He cannot take those prolonged auto trades. Now, we do also need to look at the rest of the map. We finally have a moment where we can expand our horizons to other maps. We see mid lane, the push plus the CS advantage is going to Cozq for now. Caedrel hasn't had much emphasis from his jungler because everybody else has been up on the top side of the map. For Schalke, they also have a bottom lane that can get an advantage here as they look to get out of the laning phase. You've got the Tristana, you've got the Thresh, you can either go top side or to the mid lane and look to get out of a laning phase, but it depends on how much time you want to give the Jax. It's all about this team dynamic from Schalke.
And Schalke have looked so strong at points, but have also shown some very clear weaknesses, vision being one of them. They seem to have shored that up this game. They've got 2 control wards down towards the bottom side of the river in mid lane, but they don't have any on the top side. So there is a possibility that Kikis and Amazing could look for a gank onto Caedrel, who is being forced behind a little bit by Cozq.
Now the thing for Cozq is he knows he's going to have less damage on the trades because he's got the Mercury treads. Now that into the Syndra, obviously a very defensive purchase to basically say, okay, I've got magic resist now, I'm not going to get taken out. Gives Cozq the ability to roam a little bit quicker, get that passive working up along the, surfing the walls, and get themselves into the game. Now, Mysterious Monkeys are not out of this game. Schalke have a great position, but if Cozq gets the ultimate up into a lane, we're only 8 minutes into this game, so it is still anybody's, but this Jax is looking very scary.
And this is where we need to see the development of Mysterious Monkeys that we've talked about. We need to see that 10 weeks in the LCS has allowed them to carry from different positions. We need to see Yuki step up. We need to see Cozq step up, because you cannot put the entire impetus on Amazing and Kikis to carry you as a team. You need to show that you have improved over the last 10 weeks and you are able to take down a team like Schalke.
And I think that's the positive for Schalke's side of things, is they've seen Upset carry. They've seen Caedrel be able to have carry performances as well. And in this series, Smittyj is like, okay, just give me Jax, everything's fine, and I'll win the game for you. So Schalke seem to have a much more stable base on all aspects than Mysterious Monkeys, and that's what's making them difficult to play against. Because I have confidence in Upset, I have confidence in Caedrel being able to carry the game through, whereas Mysterious Monkeys, we've only seen 1 or 2 games that has happened.
So we approach the 10-minute mark. Schalke do have about 1,000 gold lead. It's been the gold lead at 20 minutes in the last 2 games, so they've been able to accelerate that ever so slightly faster than we have seen previously. Memento is going to try and push forward, but there is vision for the Mysterious Monkeys, and they are going to collapse because Cozq has the Weaver's wall here, cleanses away the unleashed power from Caedrel, try and force him back. Amazing gets the lock up onto Memento, the stun on Caedrel, he's cleanses himself, but a good seismic shove from Cozq. Smittyj jumps in, flash away from Cozq, and here's the kill on towards the backline, and now Schalke are having to run away. That's 2 kills for the Mysterious Monkeys, all off the back of Cozq with some great plays.
Very important movement out of the lane by Cozq and the rest of the Mysterious Monkeys to be able to capitalize on Schalke being in the river. Caedrel thought he was out of that exchange, but Kikis knows he can close the distance, knows he can get the kill. So we go back to the initial play where Cozq cleanses out, looks for further damage here, knows that Caedrel can't really escape his grasp, but Amazing, it's that lockdown into the shove. Kikis has enough time to get close enough to flash ultimate into the pit and be able to pick up the kill from there. Cozq uses what little damage he has left with that small amount of mana and is able to set up Amazing for the kill. As we said, this game was not over. Mysterious Monkeys back in.
That's exactly what we want to see from them. Equalize the gold. Equalize the CS in most of these lanes as well. Bot lane just seems to be an island in all of these games. We haven't seen any 4-man dive spot, which is what we see all of the time in LCS. It's like, where do we want to go? Let's all go bot lane and set up a play. Both these teams satisfied that those laners can face off against each other, not lose too badly. It looks like we might see a bit of a lane swap here as Upset and Norskeren are heading towards mid.
Well, I was wondering about that because Caedrel pushed it out and then Upset path towards bot side still. Flash into the cocoon.
That lands onto Dreams. Wasn't the target they wanted. Upset jumps in. Dreams with the flash away. Norskeren doesn't land the hook, and Amazing now joins the fight, which forces Schalke back. They do get the flash out from Dreams.
Now we have to see Norskeren, Caedrel, can they set up some of these longer range engage, this catch potential out of Schalke? Because that was an awkward passage of play here where Upset finally manages to get a little bit of farm in the bottom lane, but now has to defensively move away from his tower as Mysterious Monkeys are going to look for the play here. It's an awkward moment where Schalke are trying to defend this tower, but they don't know whether they can actually commit to it. It will be a 3 versus 3 on the bottom side as Amazing is starting to come in. Upset does have both of his summoners available, and they have the Lantern. But I don't know whether they want to go aggressive here, because there's no real gain to be had in that 3v3 for now.
Against the Fissure, against the Glacial Prison, it is a death sentence if you are caught by either of those. I didn't mean that pun.
Oh, you did. You did.
It happened. Because the CC chain is just so devastating. Yuki tops it off with a Feather Caller as well, and then you've got Cozq with the Seismic Shove, and you've got Kikis with the Cataclysm, and if you get caught out at all as a member of Schalke 04, you might as well wave goodbye to your life. A great hook onto the backline. Here comes the Reaver's Wall as Mysterious Monkey's about to take the fight. Norskeren knocked back, amazing with the kill. Kikis is going to teleport in. He's going to jump onto Upset if he can. The flash, the heal are available. The jump away from Upset. Kikis doesn't go any further. Smittyj did not have TP to join the fight.
And Kikis was looking to try and time the ultimate with the jump away. You can drag Tristana back at that point. Didn't quite get the timing, but still got enough from that. Got Upset low health, enough to back away, and they get the tower. That wasn't an overcommit out of Mysterious Monkeys at all. They now have got the objectives and have turned around a game that looked very dire from that Jax getting ahead in the top lane. It will still be a sticking point for Schalke. But the first turret has gone in favor of Mysterious Monkeys, and it all came from Norskeren looking for the play. He hooks Yuki, and feels like this is the right time to go, because there's no TP out at the initial play from Kikis, and look at how far Smittyj had already crossed down. There was no threat on top side, so Mysterious Monkeys go, okay, let's just go for this fight. We can actually take this advantage, and they end up picking up the tower plus the kills.
Schalke 04 will be able to get themselves a Rift Herald in response. No one went for the Cloud Drake as well. One of the less desirable drakes early on. Cozq and Amazing will join this fight, and Smittyj is going to get forced back. He pops down the counter-strike, looking for the leap across the wall, instead uses the flash. Memento chased off by Kikis. The Cataclysm dodged, but he's still going to go down at the end of this as Kikis gets his second kill of the game.
This game has gone very crazy in favor of Mysterious Monkeys very quickly. They found these fights. This is what the composition wanted to do with the Jarvan. You basically have free engage potential between the Taliyah, the Jarvan, the Sejuani. You just run up to somebody if they're on their own and say, okay, now you face 4 ultimates and you're going to end up dying. That's what's happened twice in a row now. The first one was set up by Norskeren looking for a play on himself, which is still kind of what we wanted to see Schalke be doing, trying to find out a pick on Yuki, but they didn't have the damage to follow it up.
I really like this zone control composition as well coming out from the Mysterious Monkeys. It feels to me very much like this is the sort of composition that they play a lot better with. When you've got the Taliyah to lock out a backline, when you've got the long-range engage from a Sejuani, from a Glacial Fisher, when you can really shut down entire portions of a lane, that's when Mysterious Monkeys seem to thrive. And it's working for them here. Amazing as well, putting pressure in other lanes than top. Saying, okay, let's get a different lane ahead for a little bit, has really helped them accelerate a 2,000 gold lead at the 15-minute mark.
Yeah, it has. And when we're talking about the play styles here and the one Mysterious Monkeys are playing now, it is easier to play an aggressive, engage-focused composition when you're not faced with heavy disengage than it is to play a pick composition with a split-push threat. It's wildly more easy for Mysterious Monkeys to just go, okay, I see a guy, gonna go engage on him, catch him, okay, he's dead, okay, now we look for an objective. The difficulty is Schalke with the Rift Herald will see whether they can actually make a play here, but the Reaver's Wall comes out, Rift Herald's gonna kind of just zone, what do you call it?
Phase.
Phase, thank you, that was actually the word that I was looking for. Through the wall.
I'm
glad you watched a lot of...
It just goes to the void,
yeah,
and then comes out of the void. Through walls. It's like Caedrel.
Yeah, very much so. You've been watching a lot of Doctor Who. That's what I'm picking up from this.
Yes, I do enjoy watching Doctor Who from time to time. Have to keep up with how fellow doctors are doing. Schalke 04 on the back foot a little bit as that Rift Herald didn't really get them too much. Smittyj jumped on though as Kikis tries to take the 1v1. Smittyj wins this. He wins this so well. Glacial Prism comes out from Amazing, but it does not connect. That was over-aggression from Kikis and appropriate aggression from Smittyj.
Yeah, appropriate aggression completely. Smittyj's like, oh, you want to trade against me? Great, okay, I know I win this trade, so let's dance. At this point, Trinity Force was completed, and that's Smittyj's comfort on this champion. He's played it for so long in so many matchups that I expect him to read trades well. And he has done that so far. Very well able to trade against that Jarvan, and it's worked out well. I don't even really think Amazing wants this trade. He is low mana, but the reason he's taking it is Cozq is on the way.
So is Memento, but the stun onto Smittyj. He can jump away. Memento's actually going to turn back onto Cozq, who cleanses straight away, jumps up with the repel. Memento's dead now. Smittyj trying to retreat, and meanwhile, Caedrel's on a flank position here. won't be able to get any damage down on towards the back line.
And not really worth committing more people to defend Smittyj. He is already out at this point. Memento just sacrifices his life. Team player Memento just denies the follow-on from Smittyj.
There's a blue buff coming up relatively soon here, Stress, and this is where we saw Mysterious Monkey take the advantage. Cozq on this Taliyah in game 2 and in this game. Seismic shoves have been on point, and his zone control is absolutely perfect.
Yeah, it's great. And Cozq, we were talking about him, like, is he now the gatekeeper for challenger mids wanting to get to LCS, like he got denied quite a few times? Seems to be the case. And while Cozq didn't look as impressive in LCS because of perhaps the competition he was facing, he has fed well against Caedrel. Some difficult matchups. You look to the last game, the Lucian kept him under tower quite heavily, but this game has been a lot better. Memento basically says, I don't think I'm getting out of here alive, so I'll just try and commit, try and get Smittyj out of there. And then the exchange, Smittyj just manages to run away.
It's one of those, like, if Cozq wasn't there, they can kill amazing with the two-man squad. But because Cozq joins, Memento realizes he's pushed a little bit too far, can't get away. Still, split push threat from Smittyj, very evident with that play. He's now picked up a Bilgewater Cutlass. Let's run down the items here, Stress. Static Shiv completed onto Upset. Essence Reaver for Yuki, not a Yumu's Ghostblade as other people would call it, and a Banshee's Veil onto Cozq. We are starting to see these teams come on a line a little bit more.
Yeah, of course, that Banshee's Veil, an item we do see picked up sometimes against that Syndra. It is a little bit more of a defensive item and going any kind of route where you're going full AP, but it's still fine. Look, Smittyj just knows how these trades go.
Memento misses the Flash Cocoon, but Kikis jumps back in with the Cataclysm. Cozq's on his way. Smitty will leap out of the rock pit. Doesn't want to play in that one at the moment. Smitty trying to turn back onto Cozq, but the rest of Mysterious Monkeys are here. Smitty with a counter-strike. Upset jumps across the wall. Unbreakable to jump away from Memento. Smitty eventually falls as he tried to sneak behind the Mysterious Monkeys backline.
All the while, Yuki has been pushing the top side as well. So Schalke, commit to the bottom side, commit to the kill, get it, but end up too low from that exchange, and Mysterious Monkeys able to capitalize on a couple of kills on the bottom side. Now, 3-2-1 on this Jax. It's going to get more and more difficult for MM to commit to a play like that. That's what Schalke can use to break open this game. But if these towers fall, wow, Norskeren knows they're going aggressive on this play.
Kikis has the TP.
Double stun
comes out. Blade Caller brings it back. Upset onto Yuki now. Here comes Amazing. The great hook onto Dreams. Actually, now Amazing's going to join the fight. Upset kills Yuki. A kill onto Caedrel in response. Now Schalke trying to get the re-engage. Memento there. Smittyj with the TP. A great hook once again from Norskeren. And 3 kills for Schalke.
Schalke set up the play very aggressively to start, and they're able to punish Yuki, Amazing, and Dreams from being around. It's not likely to result in the Baron. You can see Mysterious Monkeys actually trying to catch a low health target as they come through the bush. Kikis and Cozq have kill threat on anyone like Upset that walks through, but look, Norskeren's low as well.
Oh, poor support mains. This happens so often. You go to put a ward down and you're met with a rock to the face.
Upset's like, no, leave me. Norskeren says, you shall not pass. Has to yell out, but look, this was the attempt onto Yuki initially. Good double stun off the Feather Storm from Yuki, but he actually walks right into Upset. The bomb that's on him ends up ticking down, and they know they've killed Yuki already at this point. And Schalke are able to reset the fight, get themselves working again. Hook lands onto Amazing, keeps him in place in order for Schalke to be able to take this defensive play. And it looked to have been good for Mysterious Monkeys on the push from Yuki, but look, this buys so much more time for Schalke now. Now they can even push on that bottom lane, but Mysterious Monkeys, we saw this play against Mysterious Monkeys in game number 2, and it backfired horribly for Schalke. Will the same thing happen in reverse?
Cozq has learned from his fellow challenger promotion tournament compadres. He is Lord of the Pit as he puts down the wall. Memento gets a steal from Memento once again. Oh, what is this series? That's the 3rd Baron steal we've had, Stress.
Can people stop going Baron at like 22 minutes when you haven't opened up enough of an advantage? So, Jax with a Baron is going to push everything down.
I don't understand it. Cozq was Lord of the Pit. He set up the wall. He said, you shall not pass. And Memento just jumps straight over it.
Yeah, Memento is cracks in the wall. Spider just climbs through and everything's okay. Really though, last game ended with Mysterious Monkeys trying a Baron rush against the Jax, who was taking the base the other side of the map. This time, Mysterious Monkeys try a Baron rush against the Jax, who was pushing out for pressure on the bottom side, who comes up to the fight. Memento steals it away and now has a Baron buff and can just continue to push any kind of lane he wants. I wonder whether that Baron call is going to be the difference between Schalke taking it 3-1 now or having another even series. Gotta commend Schalke being able to steal it away again.
And they've equalized the gold as well. 2,000 behind for the vast majority of this game. But now with this tower, they'll actually go ahead by about 1,000 gold or so. Alongside that, we talked so much about Smittyj being ahead, but now you look at the other matchups, and they're getting ahead as well. Yep. Upset has now got Trinity Force and a static Shiv. You've almost got a Morello and a second completed item for Caedrel as well.
Now, Cozq is still doing a decent job in the matchup, up heavily in CS. 3 kills, 4 assists to his name. Banshee's first does reduce his damage a little bit, but is very standard. There's nothing wrong with that at all, especially when you're trying to block some of that combo potential out of the likes of the Syndra. Of course, you're up against a pick comp, so if you can block a hook, block a cocoon, that kind of thing, it all goes well. But look now, Cozq in the mid lane, they engage.
Lock up straight onto Memento. That's a killing spree for Kikis. Norskeren in the pit with the rest of Mysterious Monkeys. He's going to get locked up as well. 2 kills once again for the Mysterious Monkeys because they know Smittyj is not there.
Same as game 3 here for Mysterious Monkeys. Up against it, they start the engages on the Baron buffed up team and they're able to push forward. Now Smittyj will get objectives from this. He will push the bottom side and continue to advance the lead for Schalke. Kikis knows he can't trade with him. That is why Cozq is here as well. But Cozq has no ultimate. They know it was just used. Cozq also has no flash.
Smittyj is trying to work his way through the jungle. Guerrilla warfare here from him as he will manage to escape, get himself up towards the mid lane. Both these teams fighting for a spot in the LCS. Schalke closer to it at the moment, being 2-1 up in this series, but you need to win 2 series across the promotion tournament to secure your spot.
Well, this would be a way that MM could get back into it. Of course, no teleport was available for Smittyj on this exchange, and we've talked a couple of times about how MM, when they have this engage focus, when Amazing is able to dictate the pace, go aggressive, Kikis can come in, jump onto somebody, they can actually make these fights work for themselves. The problem is Schalke still maintain a slight slight gold lead at this point. It's not quite as detrimental as in the last game in favor of Schalke, but still Schalke have the tools to close this series out.
It was a 3k gold lead at the 20-minute mark in the last game. Ended up being about 6k at the 25-minute mark. Only about 700 here, Stress. So a vast chasm between those gold advantages.
And remember what we were talking about with the Jax, vision control, the ability to control any entrances on that path to bottom lane, and Smittyj did not have it. Now he finds himself collapsed upon, but the counter response comes from Schalke being able to push through the mid lane. Smittyj is sat between the lanes, actually jumps right into Kikis, but that's a trade if it's 1v1 he wants, but not with Yuki.
Yuki is able to help Kikis get the kill. Kikis actually on a rampage now. I think he has 6 kills.
Yeah, he does.
Across the course of this match. Behind in CS, but getting those kills is allowing him to collapse onto these Schalke members.
Smittyj was in an awkward position there, and it was an easy collapse out of Mysterious Monkeys, knowing they can just take him down, because he didn't have enough vision control through the jungle. He was trying to find a safe path out. Now Upset might be caught.
Gets him out. Amazing is there on the front line. Here comes the Weaver's Wall. A great Glacial Prism on towards Upset, and Mysterious Monkeys have turned this one straight around. We kept talking about Smittyj and the split push, but Mysterious Monkeys are able to pull the trigger and take down Upset.
And it's all gone a little bit shaky for Schalke as this game has expanded. The kills going in favor of Mysterious Monkeys. The Jax should be taking over this game, but the forced fights out of MM is what is keeping them in control. And look, Baron has expired. Baron will be up in a couple of minutes now in favor of, well, for whichever team they want, but you look at the way MM, if they can get that same engage again, that would set up a Baron play potentially.
I think you need to look at Cozq as well. He has been so on point with this Taliyah play. Probably the best I've seen him play across the course of this split. And we talked about whether it's he's facing Challenger Series opponents or LCS opponents, or whether perhaps it's that he is stepping up when his team needs him the most as well, because he hasn't had too much help from his team in this game. He didn't have too much help from his team in game 2 as well, when he was so strong on this Taliyah, and we are seeing him show why he got to LCS in the first place.
Yeah, only recently have there really been those fights in mid lane that he has been involved in. Everything else he's kind of worked for himself, whether it was the Weaver's Wall coming through. I agree with you. This Cozq is better than we have seen all split. We've seen a handful of games, but we haven't really seen in a series Cozq actually shine in his own right quite up to this level. I like watching the Taliyah play out of him. I feel like this game, Caedrel has been up against a lot of presence from Cozq in the lane. The push power of the Taliyah into the Syndra has been difficult for him to deal with, which is the opposite of the last game. I wonder what Game 5 potentially would have in store for a mid-lane matchup, but Schalke don't want to let that happen.
Amazing's being caught out down to half. Smittyj's on the front line, but he's going to get locked up as well. They kill Amazing, and Smittyj gets out. Schalke Null Fear able to get him out from the backlines, and that is the sort of ninja play they need to use to beat out the Mysterious Monkeys. The Cataclysm onto Caedrel, he flashes the wall, the kill onto Norskeren, Cozq unstoppable, and perhaps the Mysterious Monkeys have found an avenue back into this game.
20 seconds on the Baron, and Mysterious Monkeys are trying to look to push forward. Now Schalke, they're fortunate they got upset out of there. They managed to get Smittyj out as well using the Lantern. MM aren't committing to a Baron, they're recalling out to make sure they're healthy enough. I kind of agree on this because of how shaky the Barons have been completely. Like Memento stolen 1, Amazing stolen 2. Don't 50-50 it now. Of course, Norskeren was dead from this fight. And it all started, I want to see where Smittyj comes from. He walks up through the bottom side looking to teamfight, but does take so much damage from Cozq and Yuki. Even Cozq defending on any kind of exit path by using that shove to try and block a Jax that's trying to get away. But look, the rest of the fight comes through. They commit in, get the kill on Caedrel, but in the picture-in-picture, bottom left-hand side of your screen is the most important thing. Memento, don't think he can get there in time. Cozq's going to throw him away.
Wall from Cozq. He's going to jump across the wall, perhaps even die here, but the TP comes in. Memento tried to jump in. There's the Lantern to get him out. Now Smittyj is going to be in a world of hurt. There's no ward for him to jump to. He goes down into the GA, and Mysterious Monkey is going to jump the wall as Caedrel gets taken out by Cozq. Smittyj, though, is back alive and can do work. He kills 3, he kills 2. He's looking for more. So much damage from Elsa. He's going to jump straight onto the face of Yuku, and then flash across the wall. He gets another. And it's, he dies at the end. It's an ace in favor of the Mysterious Monkeys as Schalke tried desperately to defend.
And it's almost poetic that Kikis and Amazing are the only 2 people remaining for Mysterious Monkeys at this point, but it has not only been about them. Cozq's damage in fights, Yuki's damage in fights has been enough for Mysterious Monkeys to march through the Schalke lineup, and on that one, that was a very close fight. Smittyj being able to deal with most of the members of Mysterious Monkeys in that fight, but Baron buff went over to MM. They will have that advantage and look to continue to make their way back into the game. So Cozq tries to block Memento as much as he can, uses the blast cone early, but that actually lets Memento get into position to rappel up. Luckily, Mysterious Monkeys get the Baron low enough so they can take it out. In comes the rest of the fight. Smittyj had TP'd in, GA procs, he jumps out of the back of the fight, gets onto Cozq, takes out 1 damage dealer, takes down Dreams. He's not taking too much damage until Yuki sets his sights on him, and at the end of this, where is the damage that comes from? It looked like
Kikis
and Cozq end up getting
and
it.
an auto from Cozq.
Exactly, the red buff, the auto from Cozq is enough to just take down Upset as he tried to leap away.
He kills them in response stress. He says, you killed me, I'll take you down. The jungle is on the side of the Mysterious Monkey. It makes sense they've lived in the EU zoo for the last 10 weeks, and now they are looking to live in this bottom lane as they push up with all 5 members. They want to equalize this series. Getting a win this week is so vital to your chances of getting through to the LCS once again.
And from what was a 700 gold lead, remember, for Schalke at that 25-minute mark, now Mysterious Monkeys have themselves the Baron buff. They have the team-fighting team. They want to jump aggressively into the base of Schalke and try and even this series back up. Schalke looked like they were in such a great position, but MM off a Baron call, one that went their way. They are looking to establish full control on the end of Game 4.
Schalke Null Fear will be reminiscent of playoffs just 4 months ago. It was this lineup with 1 or 2 replacements that took them down in the playoffs, that stopped them from making their way straight back into the LCS after being relegated. It was this lineup that destroyed them 3-1, and it was Cozq and Yuki who were a mainstay of that destruction. And once again, we see Cozq stepping up against his former foes and showing them that he is the gatekeeper. He is the one who knocks on the door and sees if you are ready to make it to the LCS.
Yeah. NA had Fabi. EU has Cozq. A little bit different. Not necessarily about challenger on the ladder, but certainly Cozq has stepped up in this series. Yuki, I think, and Dreams have quietly had a good series themselves. I don't feel like any player of either of the lineups has underperformed in this series consistently. I think there have been games where you look at, oh, maybe this mid lane matchup didn't go in favor of a Cozq, where Caedrel on the Lucian is able to have his emphasis. But then equally, this matchup is the opposite, where we see the opposite player taking effect. And we came into today saying we didn't know what to expect on the strength of each team, and I think that has shone through. Schalke and Mysterious Monkeys very evenly matched here, but Mysterious Monkeys look like they're in a position to close out Game 4 and take us to 1 game to separate a winner's bracket team and a loser's bracket team.
Once more into the breach go the Mysterious Monkeys. Schalke and Fear will defend. Only lost that bottom inhib at the moment. Let's quickly review the items before this fight starts. 4 items in the top lane. Kikis now going towards the GA, but the fight is going to begin, and they don't want us to look at anything but this top lane inhibitor tower. There's still minions there if Mysterious Monkeys want to push in.
An upset is going to be one of the key factors here if he can stay safe in the fights. If he doesn't get caught by a Cozq, a Yuki, or Kikis, he will be able to take a step back on Tristana and use full advantage of this additional range. He's at level 16, not quite at that max range cap for Tristana at this point, but still will be able to sit far enough back, but he cannot get engaged upon. He can't get hit by an ultimate from Sejuani. He has a QSS, there's a Mikhail's on Norskeren as well, but is it enough for Schalke to hang on? Remember, a win here puts Schalke through to the winner's bracket next week. A loss here takes us to a Game 5.
No armor penetration for Upset yet either. No Last Whisper on him. Smittyj is pretty beefy on his items as well. 4 completed.
The bottom lane pushing in. Smittyj has to commit to that. Remember, Jack's not as great a team fighter. This is one of the reasons why we still see the Jarvan picked into the Jacks despite having a quote-unquote bad matchup. G2 did this for Expect a couple of weeks back in the LCS and said, okay, we don't care about the matchup, we're just going to engage, and MM step up. They're taking a little damage under the tower here. Schalke holding on this push. It'll be on the next minion wave. And remember, Baron buff has expired. 1 minute until it respawns, so this is more about presence to be able to retreat back and get the Baron again for Mysterious Monkeys.
A lot of this next fight is about Caedrel and Upset and whether they can respond to the Mysterious Monkeys' pressure. Upset has shown his positioning is very strong. Caedrel's done the same, but Caedrel's had a poor game thus far. Cocoon lands onto Cozq, the knockback. Amazing jumps onto Caedrel, won't get the stun, but the inhibitor tower does fall. Smittyj wants the engage, the counter strike on 4, the hook onto Dreams, the knockback with the scatter of the week, and this is the game-defining play. Smittyj into the GA. Cozq still at the backline, somehow survives. Kikis kills Memento. Smittyj in the midst can't do anything, and Mysterious Monkeys are surviving. Mysterious Monkeys are surviving in this series, in this game. They'll take the inhibitors, and they are surviving in the LCS for now. This will be the game, and this will take us to a Game 5.
It looked like Upset maybe from the distance could have got the damage, but you mentioned it, he doesn't have the armor penetration right now. He can't hold on alone. It was a good setup to the fight from Smittyj. He got the 4-man stun, but it wasn't enough. We are going to Game 5 between Mysterious Monkeys and Schalke 04.
What a game to round it out. 4 games in and nothing between these two teams. Schalke 04 unable to close out with an early lead in the top lane, and Mysterious Monkeys bite back in Game 4.
That looked like a very dangerous game where Schalke looked to be in control. Even off the first Baron, Memento gets in there, gets the steal. It looked like Schalke with the Jacks were going to take over, and suddenly Mysterious Monkeys go, okay, no, we're going to fight. We're going to take as many fights as we can. Use this composition as it is meant to be. The Jarvan, the Sejuani, continuing to march forward, and fight after fight goes in their favor, enough to turn the game back around. And 37 minutes in, they finally turn a fight that it looked like Schalke had won and end up closing the game.
We are so close to seeing who gets through to that winner's bracket, and I think you have to step into the minds of NIP and of Giants now and say, you're looking obviously at your series tomorrow, you're looking at that first series in the promotion tournament, but looking at these two teams, do you think anyone's worried? Do you think anyone thinks that these teams aren't beatable? Because neither of them has shown the dominance that we saw in the summer's promotion tournament. Neither of them have destroyed their opposition like we saw Origin and Giants get destroyed.
Right, but I think that is more that they're actually on a decent level between both teams, where I think NIP and Giants will be on a similar level. I am excited to see how the rest of the matchups go, but we still have one more game in this, and you saw the look on Caedrel's face backstage. I think Caedrel in the next game is going to say, okay, just give me a matchup I can use. Give me a matchup I can win and dominate with, because Syndra is fine into Taliyah, but if I get pushed in all the time in the laning phase, I want to get out of this laning phase and start killing people. And I think that is one thing that I look for Schalke to actually adapt.
And do you change the ban phase then? Because Taliyah has been the only champion we've seen Cozq really perform on. Do you ban out the Taliyah? Do you mitigate one of those other bans?
I think you phase 2 Taliyah ban at this point. I think that the bans have been good, focused towards the top side, but I'm less scared of the likes of a Renekton or a Shen. More so the Shen, I think, could be let through for Kikis than I am of the Taliyah. The Taliyah, to me, right now, is looking too safe for Cozq to be able to play this matchup out. So that's my opinion on it. But of course, Schalke have their own game plan here. We'll see whether they adapt on that in this next game.
That we will. Veteran, obviously the coach for Schalke, used to be with H2K, will be very used to these tense situations and will know how they want to approach the next game of the series. But amazing, and the rest of the Mysterious Monkeys are very used to tense series as well, having been in the LCS for the last 10 weeks. We're going to have a quick look back at that final fight, because at times it looked like Schalke had the engage they wanted.
Yeah, especially when Smittyj jumps in, flashes onto 4 people, and even gets Cozq, forces Yuki to QSS out, and here it looks good. But look, Upset is stuck hitting Kikis for a while. Kikis still high enough, it means Upset has to kite back. Dreams blocks a lot of damage through the, I believe it's a Locket, the Unbreakable. Dreams survives. Upset has to kite down. Look, Kikis would have provided a great reset. Cozq would have provided a great reset, and he does, but it's way too late in the fight here as Upset actually got the kill, and that means MM could move in to take the base. And that fight was one of those ones where Schalke, if a couple of different things had gone their way, they could have won, but Mysterious Monkeys at that point were too far ahead and were able to just survive through by Dreams putting up this massive shield.
And credit has to go to Kikis as well, because he was devastated in the lane. He got absolutely dominated by Smittyj and then ended up 8-3-11, just somehow picking up kill after kill in the bot lane fights.
And that's the thing, is this Jarvan versus Jax matchup, it's something G2 spoke to a couple of weeks ago. I touched on it in a game where you can have a bad lane matchup and then say, okay, but this pick will still give us this advantage in fights, which is something Jax can't do as well. You saw the effect that a Jax could have in a fight by getting a 4-person stun, whereas Jarvan just goes, okay, Cataclysm time, jumps in, is able to just get a lot of activity when it came to Mysterious Monkeys trying to get back into the game against Schalke.
Well, Mysterious Monkeys had their backs against the wall, but managed to force a Game 5. We'll be back for the decider in just a couple of minutes. Don't go anywhere.
I think we can win. Let's go for Jarvan, go for Jarvan. Nice, go for him. He has no flash, no flash. He will stun you in 1 second. I will kill. Nice!
Really good.
Get the re-engage Memento there. Smittyj with the TP. A great hook once again from Norskeren. And 3 kills for Schalke. Tournament compadres. He is Lord of the Pit as he puts down the wall. And Memento is a steal from Memento once again.
Elise. Nice. I mean, go back. Yeah, get Thresh. I have to see that.
Smittyj, though, is back alive and can do work. He kills 3, he kills 2. He's looking for more. So much damage from Upset. He's going to jump straight onto the face of Yuku and then flash across the wall. He gets another. And it's, he dies at the end. It's an ace. In the midst, can't do anything. And Mysterious Monkeys are surviving. Mysterious Monkeys are surviving in this series, in this game.
We are going to Game 5 between Mysterious Monkeys and Schalke 04.